Hello everyone, it's been a very long time since I've done a video, and I'm here today to give you guys an update on the US travel ban. So I'm currently in my 10-day travel quarantine after returning from America last week, and I know it's been an extremely long time since I've done a video. It was nearly a year ago since I learnt about this loophole, and then maybe a month later I decided to make a video on it to help you guys out. So it's just crazy how quick the time's gone and that we're still in the same situation. The borders still are unfortunately closed. So as promised, here is the updated video. I know it's a lot later than I wanted it to be, than you guys all thought. I know I kept saying I'd make one, I'll make one soon, but I just ran out of time. I got so busy with school and other things, I just didn't have the time, and I'm sorry for that. But honestly, really not much has changed since my last video, so you can still easily go off everything pretty much that I said in that last video. Obviously I will update you on a few country changes and all that, but you can still get a very good idea from the last video, and especially from the comments. Now, since I'm from the UK, I will be talking about it more like from a UK point of view, but if you're from Europe, most of this is certainly easily transferred. I mean, if you're watching this and you're from India, things might be a bit more complicated, and I'm not sure how I can help you with that. But certainly much of Europe is going to be almost the same advice. You're going to have different travel restrictions. The UK have suddenly decided they're going to be strict with travel. Not that they've done that through the whole pandemic, but all of a sudden they want to be strict with travel, so that makes things a lot more complicated. But maybe in your country you can travel, you're probably going to have more options than what UK nationals have, to be honest. And just remember a lot from last time, I'm not a travel expert. Please do not take my word for absolutely everything. Like, I don't work for the government, I don't work for the embassy. This is just things I've read online and researched. Anyone can find this information online. If you do decide to do this method and you're not sure on anything, just the best way is to honestly phone the embassy that you need to get hold of. So if you're worried about getting into America, call the American embassy. I know a few people said they did that, and they said this loophole is they said the loophole will work just so long as you do it correctly. But if you're worried about the country you're traveling to or any UK regulations, then phone that embassy. And a lot of this stuff is available on government websites. I wouldn't trust everything you read from like newspaper websites, those sort of things. But definitely if it's from the country's government website, then yeah, take it. So like, a lot of my information came from the UK Gov website, which is very helpful for any country you want to travel. Definitely research, definitely look on there before you travel to that country, etc. I'll stop talking about that. So like I said, this method does work, and thank you so much to all those people that commented on my last video with success stories. You can check them out on the last video, or here's a few right now. Yeah, but honestly, it's so nice to hear that this video was able to help people see loved ones or get to America for whatever reason they needed to be there for, and I'm glad I can help you in that sort of way. Your comments also helped other people and gave them the confidence that they could do this method. So please, if you do this method, please comment below, as like I said, it's really helpful for not just myself but for anybody else considering this method too. So as I've been saying, really not much has changed. I know it was very difficult through the winter with more countries not on the US banned list banning UK nationals. I'm not sure about European nationals, but I'm aware that a lot of countries started banning UK nationals because our cases rose over the winter. But I am hoping with our lower cases the situation is improving, and hopefully really soon America will take us off the banned list. Or even just open their borders to everyone. Well, maybe not everyone. I know there's still some places that are struggling, but to those countries that have low cases and low deaths, surely this needs to be looked into again. And I know the Travel Secretary has said he's working closely with America to get us off the list, but honestly, who knows? So, right, I'll stop talking. Sorry if you just skipped ahead. Hello. So let's have a look at the ruling again. Here we go. So, with specific exceptions, several presidential proclamations suspend and limit entry into the United States as immigrants or non-immigrants of non-citizens who were physically present with the following countries during the 14-day period preceding their entry or attempted entry into the United States. So, again, the big word, the 14-day period is still the same, so this loophole will still work. They are allowing certain visa types in now, which is how I got into America. I can fly directly because I'm on a student visa, which luckily they're allowing in. Just check if they accept your visa before you decide to do this method. You might get lucky, but certainly if you're traveling on an ESTA, you will not be able to fly direct, and you will have to do this method. Well, I mean, you don't have to do this method, like I'm not forcing you to do it, but I don't think there's any other way. If you're desperate to get in, then you probably will have to do this method unless you decide, nah, I'll just wait. Okay, so exactly same again, same as last time. You can get around this ban if you spend 14 days in a country not on the banned list. So here is the list of banned countries. Again, really not many have been added, and I don't think any have been taken away. If you spend 14 days in a country not on this list, you can then travel directly to the United States from that country. You are allowed a stopover to get to the United States, but it cannot be in a country that is on the banned list. If you take a stopover in if you take a stopover in the UK, then you're not going to be allowed to fly to America, and you'd have to quarantine all over again. Again, like I said in the last video, I would, just to be safe, stay for 15 days in that country, not 14. Just to be absolutely certain, so there's no confusion over timings and things. And definitely keep your hotel receipt or something just in case they ask for proof. Now, I haven't heard of them asking anyone for proof, but just in case they do, just have that just in case. So this is still doable by most countries I talked about in the last video. If not, there's probably more countries you can do it in now. This is still doable via Croatia, Qatar, Serbia, and some of the Caribbean islands, etc. For Europeans, Croatia is probably one of the easiest and cheapest ways of doing this. Turkey is still probably the fastest, but I know for the UK that's become very difficult, and I'm going to talk about that in just a second. If you do choose Croatia, there are no direct flights to the US, so you will have to have a stopover in another country. This is fine so long as they're not on the banned list. So the easiest way is having a stopover in Istanbul or Qatar. And remember, if you choose to go to like one of the Caribbean islands, how nice, you will not be able to travel, you will not be able to have a stopover in America to get to that destination. You have to fly to that destination directly, or have a stopover in a different country that's allowing UK citizens to have, or European citizens, wherever you're from, to have a stopover in that country. Okay, so let's discuss Turkey really quickly. It's kind of a very confusing one right now, and there definitely needs to be a lot more research into this. Unfortunately, I've not had the time to look at everything. I looked at it briefly from a UK point of view. I don't know what it's like for Europe and other places, but I know if you're coming from the UK, all travel to Turkey is prohibited. So you cannot fly directly from the UK to Turkey. I know you can transit through there if you're coming from another country. So like if you decided to do the Croatia way, you could transit through Istanbul and onto America, and you should be fine. But like I said, I'm not 100% sure. It's kind of confusing, and I've not had a chance to read absolutely everything that there is out there. So if Turkey is still an option for you, please just make sure you read all the guidelines, all the rules. I would probably recommend speaking with an embassy, your country's embassy or the Turkish embassy, because it's very confusing right now. Another country that we talked about in the last video, Qatar, that's since become confusing too. They are allowing entry, however, there's a mandatory 7-day hotel quarantine, which is at your expense. So that's probably going to be quite expensive, but then again, it is Qatar. However, I think I did read that if you're vaccinated, if you're fully vaccinated, you do not have to do the hotel quarantine. So if you are vaccinated, this still might be an option for you. I'm aware they have green, amber and red travel lists just like we do, and if you're on the green list, you don't have to quarantine too, but I don't remember seeing the UK or much of Europe on that green list. I remember seeing Iceland on that green list, so if you're watching this from Iceland, you do not have to quarantine if you fly to Qatar. But yeah, the green list is pretty similar to the UK's green list, so if you're thinking about going to Qatar, then read up on that. Like I said, you can pretty much fly to any country that's not on the banned list and spend your 14 days there, but just be careful with which country you choose, because a lot of countries are still banning entry from UK nationals and even European nationals. So like Canada. So Canada are actually being very strict and have pretty much banned any foreign national unless you have an exempt reason for entering their country in any way. Thinking of other countries off the top of my head, you can probably try Mexico. I believe you can still travel there from the UK and much of Europe, but it's probably one of the more risky ones on the borders. But there's some lovely destinations in Mexico, so why not if you want to make a whole trip out of it. So onto the actual ways of like getting there, this has changed a lot. So pretty much now, wherever you travel, you have to provide proof of a negative COVID test, normally within the last 3 days. So like the 3 days before you travel. So you need to provide a negative test when you travel onto the States. So whichever country you choose to go to, you will have to take a test in that country. So you're definitely going to need to research how you can obtain a test in that country, or if there's an option to bring a home testing kit with you, bring one of those, because I know British Airways are doing one where you get your results in like 20 minutes at an affordable price too. I think it's like £30, so that might be the best option. I don't think the US are too strict about what type of test you need. I know when I travelled last, it was a PCR or an antigen test. They weren't accepting lateral flow tests, but I don't know if that has since changed. But yeah, you should check that. And whatever country you're travelling to spend your 14 days in, so like Croatia or somewhere, you're probably going to have to provide proof of a negative COVID test 3 days before you travel there. You can't take this test on the NHS, you will have to pay for one. Like I said, I know BA are doing cheap ones. Whichever airline you're flying with, they should give you recommendations and most likely give you a discount. I think BA's home testing kit, which I was talking about earlier, is like £30, but you have to check with the country and what type of test they require, because different countries require different things. I know a lot have said they'll only accept a PCR or a PCR and an antigen test. The whole test things get confusing, so just make sure you take the right test and take it within the time period too. Pretty much all of these countries are on the amber list. Maybe even if you're doing Turkey, it's on the red list. So you will have to test before you leave the UK, and you will have to show that proof of the negative test at the airport before you board the plane. So I think I've rattled on enough, and I think I've covered everything. I hope I've covered everything. Any questions, I will try my best to answer them as quickly as I can. I normally try and respond within a week or two, but I have been very busy recently. Hopefully now with the summer, I'm a lot less busy, so hopefully I can respond quicker. Just remember, I'm not a travel expert, so I don't know everything, so please don't go to the airport and expect to board the plane and then be like, I said it was okay, so they should let you on the plane. That's not going to work, unfortunately. And just remember, the rules are constantly changing. All the time. I feel like every day the rules change. So please just make sure you keep checking those websites, calling those embassies, whatever you need to do to ensure that you can get there safely. And please don't use this method if you just want like a family holiday or vacation or something. This method should really only be used if you absolutely have to go to America, if you're really desperate to see a loved one, if you need to go for work, for study, for medical reasons. There's so many reasons out there that people need to get to America right now. Please don't abuse the system by just going for a holiday. Like, this is really not the time to be traveling to somewhere like America just for a holiday. Also remember to follow the government's guidelines when returning. So at the moment you have to provide a negative test before you leave the country you're in. And when you return you have to quarantine for 10 days, which is what I'm doing right now. And you have to take 2 tests. But I am making a video about that, so if that's going to help you, then make sure you check that out whenever I make it. Hopefully it will be out in the next week. If you do try this method, like I said, I wish you all the best. It does sound like border control aren't being that strict on reasons to enter, so long as you've just been out of your country for 14 days and have been in a country not on the list, then, and you have your negative test, then you should be absolutely fine to get into the US. Hopefully the borders will even open soon, but honestly, who knows? I've read so much about, yes, it's going to be soon, and then, or it's going to be next month, and then the next month has come, and here we are, the borders are still closed. So I honestly don't know anymore. I hope this video will help you, and I hope that the borders do open soon so you don't have to do this method, because I know it's very time consuming. You might not be able to get the time off work, and I know it's very expensive. So, like I said, I will be back with another video shortly, and I hope we can get back to travelling normally soon so I can help you save money and find more loopholes for you, and that we're not in this awful situation that we're in right now. So, thank you so much for you guys' support. I really appreciate it. All the comments on my last video, absolutely amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you for the increase in subscribers. It's nice to know that I'm actually giving some useful information and I'm helping you guys out. Just a quick PS to those haters. You know, had a few comments on my last video. Travel can be done safely with regular testing and following quarantine rules, especially if you are fully vaccinated. I have since travelled to and from America 5 times since the start of the pandemic and have not contracted or spread COVID-19, and I'm now fully vaccinated. Don't be that annoying one that comments something about not entering your precious country. This can be done safely and should be for legitimate reasons only. Sorry, anyway, I'll stop talking. Have a good day, guys. I hope this helps you. See you soon with another video when I get out of this boring 10-day quarantine. Thanks for watching.